Alright, Earthlings, welcome back to the Thundering Dice channel with your boys, the Thundering Dice Brothers. And today, we are taking a look back into the annals of sci-fi. We've looked at the best and worst of Star Trek. Now we're going to take that, flip it around, and we'll take a look at the best and the worst of Babylon 5. And of course, we always want to save the best for last, so that means we're going to start with the worst news, the worst episode first. So many of you may already have guessed what it was. We kind of guessed it beforehand when we were just discussing about it. We had a couple things that we thought it might be. So my first thoughts were, okay, first or fifth seasons, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was betting on fifth season more than first, which surprised me when I looked into the ratings.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of forget that there are no, like, awful episodes of Babylon 5, you know? There's no, like, real stinkers. Like, there's a couple. I mean, honestly, my first thought kind of went to Grade 17 is missing, actually. You know, if you guys don't need a refresher, that's where Garibaldi uncovers this weird, like, cult that worships a terrible
alien that kills them when they're ready to wake up from the illusion that is
ascend.
life.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And so Garibaldi uses, like, a 38 caliber pistol bullet in a tube to kill it. It's
pretty
super dumb. The worst part about it, best part about it, however you want to look at it, is the creepy doll that looks at him and shoots the poison darts at him and knocks him out.
You shouldn't be here. You're in trouble.
You know, no one likes a creepy doll, so that succeeds.
Yep, definitely. But by far, and it's not unsurprising, the worst rated episode was Season 1 TKO, which is where Garibaldi's friend decides to come to Babylon 5 to fight in the Mutai.
Walker Smith.
The greatest last name you've ever heard that somehow ends up as a first name, too.
The man with two last names.
Yeah.
And no first name.
Yeah, that part, yeah, like the whole arc with the Mutai, him wanting to redeem his boxing career, so he goes to Babylon 5 to enter into this alien contest where they're super xenophobic against humans and almost try to kill him whilst he's in the ring. Very much desperate to get back his career, let's call it that way. That is the weak part of the episode. The best part of that episode is the secondary B-plot to the main B-plot of Susan coming to grips with her father's death and the rabbi showing up to help her seek Shiva and relinquish all those bad feelings and stuff like that. Like, that is the best part of the episode. It is slow and nothing of importance to the whole show except at the very end and the very beginning when Walker Smith tells Garibaldi,
watch your back.
which is very pertinent because at the end of, well, if anyone doesn't know, spoilers, but it's been out for a while, so this is on you. Watch the show. But at the end of Season 1, Garibaldi gets shot in the back.
By his number 2, man.
Yeah. Very brutal. Really great cliffhanger. And, of course, the president dies, too. So another big-ass spoiler. So that's a really great ending. So that's the only...
To Season 1.
Yeah, to Season 1. So that's, like, the only real, like, important thing that Walker Smith actually does is tell Garibaldi to watch his back.
Now, this episode falls into the category of sometimes there are too many episodes in a season and I don't have enough stories to fill it with problem.
Yes.
22 episodes, you can have one or two that are kind of, you know, this Star Trek has clips episodes sometimes. B5 has a lot less of them normal, and this does tie into the character arcs better than most do, but I still maintain overall, if the episode were never filmed and recorded, I don't think it would actually change our story at all. The way that this story is told, you cut that out and it wouldn't actually change anything about it. Does Ivanova need to... Does she gain anything from sitting Shiva about her father that we see noticeably later on? Like, what do you think she might have done differently hadn't she done the things that happened in this episode?
I don't think that anything necessarily would have been done differently on Ivanova's part, but it is a good insight to the character, and it humanizes a character even more when you see them having to overcome the struggles of humanity. So I think it's in a very important side plot that they needed to tack on to an actual plot line. Like,
yeah, it would have been a great B-line to a better episode, because for better or worse, this episode was just two B-plots sort of not even stitched together, not even loosely. There's zero crossover between them as well. It's two completely separate stories. They're almost like plays more than they are stories in an episode, especially the Mutai thing. I mean, the fight choreography, I guess someone had a lot of fun with that for sure. It was, the or the mid 90s. Martial arts fighting movies and stuff were definitely coming back. I mean, think about all the martial arts in Highlander. Adrian Paul kicking ass with a sword and punching people. He's the Highlander, but Japanese karate style.
Yeah, you got that. You got like Buffy girl action kicking ass against vampires during the same time. It's very much.
You have the Jean-Claude Van Dammes and the Jason Segel. Seagal. Sorry, Jason Segel. Wrong dude. Steven Seagal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seagal.
We're karate in movie or the Power Rangers, all that stuff. So martial arts was, Star Trek even did it too. Voyager had that episode called The Fight, where The Rock made a debut on television too, by the way, guys, as an alien fighting in this like gladiatorial ring. Very similar to this Mutai thing, it's they take it seriously or they just beat the shit out of each other and have a little bit of blood. We don't know how long this went on, but they were more tired than they were brain dead. So
yeah, which I really questioned whilst watching that because, the human body is very resilient to a certain respect, but when you get punched in the face that many times over and over again, dude, you're just going to become minced meat.
And it doesn't really matter if you're an alien or a human in this scenario. Like, okay, there may be certain things that humans are weaker at, or aliens are stronger, maybe a thicker skull, bigger head, they're taller, whatever you want to call it. But they're all bipedal, which means they all have all their sensory organs in the same place. Their brain is presumably in the same place. They're hitting each other with the same parts of their bodies. They have no extra or missing appendages or like extra skills.
Yeah.
So I've got to think that they're kind of like matched in terms of baseline physicality. So if you got the best of Walker Smith and the best of whatever race that dude is, fine, they might actually be comparable.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of it, okay, so here's the thing that really stood out to me about this episode that I thought was a good glimpse into the universe of Babylon 5 rather than any character storyline. Well, Walker Smith comes from Earth, right?
Yeah.
We see there's a lot of corruption still going on. He was framed, so there's the mafia or like organized crime has their hand in boxing, maybe even more overtly than they do now or did in the 90s. So that's still going on. We know that racism or xenophobia is very, very much alive in the future, just from his casual racism towards every alien.
Snakeheads and all that.
Yeah. And we also see the reverse being true. The aliens are like, these Earthlings are taking our sports and they are intruding in our traditions like it's a real thing, and it's obviously that's another good sci-fi thing. Turn the thing that you say is happening around so it's happening to somebody else, and look how absurd it is.
Yeah.
So obviously the fact that one human wants to fight in this does not mean that he's subverting all of your traditions. Clearly this is a very multi-racial organization already. You've got multi-species. Fuck, these are aliens from different worlds.
Yeah.
Fuck about races, these are species.
Yeah, this is multi-planetary.
So it already looks very inclusive, but they have some sort of a governing body called the Mutado or something. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah.
So they're obviously very, very xenophobic. So, so we see a couple things about the universe. You got a lot of xenophobia on both sides. You got the racism, and you've got the organized crime, which organized crime means that none of the societal ills that, we would like to think that we're going to rise above have really been solved. Some things are probably better. Medicine is obviously better. Technology has advanced. So with technology advancements generally comes some kind of overall like quality improvements.
Yeah, but there's still, from down below, there's still homelessness. You still have, so you got the poverty, you have the drug addiction problem.
You still have religion. Because the whole other plot of this is obviously Ivanova and her Jewish heritage, which is probably more like tradition than it is religion, but he's a rabbi. It's a Jewish tradition. I can infer that the religion is still going strong on Earth.
Yeah. And then also, all religions actually, our bulleted religions are going pretty strong on Earth too, because, during that
on World Religious Day that they have on B5 that was super hokey. It was like something out of middle school.
Yeah, just
World Cultures Day.
Yeah, every single like nationality, ideology, culture you could possibly think of is on display in the last part of that episode. And they all shake hands and it's all hippy dippy and it's like, oh yeah, that's really good. So all of the things that, let's just say, culturally drive us apart are still very active.
But apparently they're less divisive, or they're paid attention to less in some way, because Earth is, for better or worse, sort of under a world government.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, because the
It's not
Earth
President
Alliance.
Clark isn't president of, North and South America. He's president of Earth, the Earth Alliance. Yeah, and there's no, and maybe Antarctica is held apart, but
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, like, it definitely seems that, like, Earth federalized really well in the respect that, like,
within the
basically
scope
kind
of a couple hundred years.
yeah, it kind of took, like, the U.S. idea of, the Constitution of, like, local municipalities and then state, federal, and then just added a tier over that and called it, all right, now it's the world government, too. So, I mean, it's the only way that Earth could survive in a multiracial,
Multi-species.
multi-planetary
Yeah.
situation. You can't just have Russia, America, China, and everyone else
Still competing for resources on Earth when you realize there's a whole very populated universe, as it turns out there. And now with the
And you're almost
discovery of jump gate technology, it became a whole lot smaller. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about your warp factor screwing up your temporal mechanics and what have you. Now you just get to go through a different type of space that just shortens the distance.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then you also have a war that almost annihilates all of humanity 10 years before this show. So that's going to really put the kibosh on local powers saying, oh no, we matter more than the overarching planetary security.
Yeah, you got to wonder how much recovery happened in that decade since. How depleted were all the resources of Earth? How quickly could they rebuild from that? They had enough, obviously, to get the Babylon stations up and running. Not once, not twice, not three, not four, but five times. However, obviously, the Minbari government backed a ton of that, and so we don't know what the actual outlay was, but it seemed like it was pretty unpopular and it seemed like a waste of money. And it costs money to keep running. It costs money to staff. The budget is always a concern somehow until they break away, and then afterwards, we don't really hear about it too much because I'm sure the Minbari government is like, dude, we will be bankrolling this shit. This is our war too. Like, we got you into this.
Yeah, we got you into this. We need you to survive with the Shadow War. We got a powerful member of the Great Council telling us that we need to do this. And then also, after the Shadow War ends, we'll also help you overthrow your government. Fun.
Yes. But we've come a bit far afield. So here's the thing about bitching about an episode like this, is that it's not actually inherently the worst piece of television that I've seen even this week.
No, Rings of Power is way worse than TKO. I mean, at least I didn't feel like I've watched 4 hours.
It was really hokey. I mean, God, Garibaldi's voiceover whooping in the background during the final fight is awful. The whole fight thing is so
over the top.
It's ridiculous and unnecessary and pretty boring. And that part, definitely, you can't, if you can make the argument that somehow drives any story or character development forward,
Nope.
I challenge you to try
No.
or to do so and tell us what is in the comments, because I
No.
can't see it. And I get the Ivanova thing with her father. Yes, we can see there's some character stuff happening there. Fantastic.
But it doesn't drive depth. I agree, though. It does none of those B plots drive the overarching plot anywhere forward. It's just it's a good filler episode. Well, half of it is a good filler episode.
It's good to have episodes that are just sort of about what's going on as well. That is the nice thing about having a longer season. It means that not every episode something really big has to happen. You can just get to know these people a little bit better as well.
Yeah.
I think it succeeds in one part there, the Ivanova part. It's completely pointless in the actual TKO episode. So you have to imagine, it's called TKO, so that would be the A plot, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to guess, because that's where the action is.
Yeah.
Not much action, though.
It's the worst of a great show.
Yes.
Which means it's actually okay.
Yeah. It's definitely better than the worst rated episodes of today's world.
If they had put Zathras in there, it would have been fucking S tier episode, though.
Yeah.
That was all I was missing.
And with that, tell us how much you guys think Missing Grey 17 was a lot worse than TKO. If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Tell us what you think. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what we got right. And We will see you guys next time.